We have just beaten Nottingham Forest 3-0 away from home, and that is the game that's got Aaron Postecoglou sacked. We knew it was coming, but I mean, that dominant second half from Chelsea, I think, was enough. Mr. Marinakis left the game before the full-time whistle, and look, I have to say, first half from Chelsea was meh. They gave Forest opportunities, they made Forest look okay, but Enzo Maresca, and one area of the game that I've criticised Enzo Maresca a lot for is his substitutions. I thought versus Manchester United, his substitutions were atrocious. He left Joao Pedro alone. Do you know what I mean? But today his substitutions were spot on. Garnacho off for Gittins, Santos and Lavia off for Caicedo and Guiu, and it works so well because Joao Pedro dropped into the 10. Guiu came on and was fantastic. Guiu's getting like a 5.7 rating on SofaScore, but he was absolutely fantastic. Do not judge players off their stats or SofaScores. Judge them with your eyes. He was game changer positionally. I think Joao Pedro looked so much better in the 10, and Caicedo is Caicedo. He's just a monster of a player. And to be honest, I thought the second half from Chelsea was very good. I think the first half was not the best. I think Neto was good, just lacking the end product in the first half. Achupom was good. Chalobah was decent in the first half. But we also got to talk about Reece James because, look, he is the best right back in the world. You can't deny that. It's fitness which is letting him down. So let's break down the Chelsea game. Let's break down everything we learned. I want to talk about Achimpong, Neto, and Reece James in particular detail. I want to talk about the substitutions of Guiu, but really what this means for Chelsea, because I don't think people are really noticing the impact of this win for Chelsea. Not only has it put them in the top 4, but obviously other teams have a game in hand. But it's the way that Maresca has adapted to all these injury setbacks, done subs and got a win, and that's something that Maresca's been criticised for not doing, and this could be huge for Chelsea. So I'm going to touch upon that, because if you look at the starting 11 for a team that spent the kind of money Chelsea has spent in the last few years, this is not a good starting 11. Like, don't get me wrong, Lavia didn't have his best game today. I think he's a fantastic player. Gusto's hot and cold. Santos is a great player, but not a number 10. Garnacho wasn't great today. I think he struggled with the physicality. Joao Pedro looks better when when he can drop deeper. Cucurella's a solid player. Chalobah and Achupong, I think, is a really good centre-back partnership, but, very young, common players. It wasn't, when you look at the money Chelsea spent, that's not a crazy lineup because of the injury crisis they've got. Cole was arguably your best centre-back. Palmer's arguably your best attacking player, and Caicedo's your best player, and they went on the pitch. There was no Enzo. There were so many players missing, no Delap, and Maresca went and got a win. So let's talk about the win, then we'll talk about individual player performances. It's a free win. It's a 3-0 win. You got 3 goals, 3 points, and a clean sheet. And I have Chalobah in FPL, so thank you for the clean sheet. As much as I don't like Chelsea, I'm happy for the FPL points. As much as I wanted Forest to win, I'm very happy with the FPL points. But yeah, Caicedo came on in the second half, but you didn't have any of those players. Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, who are your best midfield three, who is the midfield three, which is a key reason behind you getting Champions League football last season. In that starting 11, none of them. Chelsea weren't good in the first half. They were not good. Garnacho was struggling with the physicality. Lavia couldn't get involved as much as he would. Santos is not a 10. Joao Pedro was lost. But Maresca's subs is what changed the game. Maresca's subs were incredible. It completely flipped the game. Because that was a statement win for Chelsea to move them into the top 4. They beat Liverpool, the last-minute winner. This was a game where they were expected to win, struggled a bit to begin with, then went up to smash them 3-0. Maresca made a few subs and thought, you know what, I'll let you play against the weak lineup. We're bringing Caicedo on, who's top 3 player in the world right now, Moises Caicedo. I'm saying that as a United fan, top 3 player in the world right now, Moises Caicedo, and things just changed. But look, the big influence for me wasn't just Caicedo, it was Guiu. And Guiu getting this SofaScore rating of 5.0 or whatever, disgrace. He was phenomenal. Joao Pedro dropped deeper. Joao Pedro could get involved in the build-up. Joao Pedro looked better because Joao Pedro can get lost as a lone 9. But the pressing, the movement from Guiu was very good. And if you look at the half-time subs, I mean, Gittins Garnacho wasn't a big sub, but I think that Gittins had a better game than Garnacho. Look, Garnacho, I think, will be really good for Chelsea, but that's not his kind of game against a back 5 physical game. Not his kind of game. Guiu was excellent because it was just allowing Joao Pedro to go into the 10, who was better than Santos to the 10. And Caicedo's an elite level player. And, Lavia, great player. May feel hard done by, but it's Caicedo. Because the second half came along. Maresca, 3 subs. You're not even losing. It's 0-0. And he goes 3 subs. And I like that from Maresca. Not even losing, 0-0, 3 subs. Amorim wouldn't do that at Man United. Maresca was like, we're 0-0, but we're not playing well, so I'm going to make some big changes. Boom. The subs brought the control. Everything. I think 6-7 minutes into the second half, boom, goal. Neto, great first half. Neto was your best player in the first half, but wasn't getting that end product. Goal assist, boom. Maresca was ruthless, and Maresca being ruthless worked today. And big up to him, because we've given him stick off that before. You know, Mark Guiu, when he comes on, he's making runs, he's pressing, he's moving, he's passing, he's opening up space. His presence allowed Joao Pedro to drop deeper. Suddenly, Joao Pedro looks electric. No goal, no assist, but he won duels and occupied defenders Mark Guiu. So I don't care if he's got a 5.7 sofa score rate, and I thought he was fantastic when he came on. I thought he changed the game. I think he allowed Joao Pedro to have a better game. I think, you know, Joao Pedro could then connect midfield to attacking players to 10, and that helped Chelsea. And I think Mark Guiu's movement and off the ball work and things that you don't see is what was so impressive today. But look, we've got to talk about Chelsea, because I feel like nobody's noticing what this win means. I then want to talk about Reece James, Achimpong and Neto. Chelsea are finding ways to win without the biggest name. This is what, I'm not saying that Chelsea are going to win the league, I'm not saying that Chelsea are the title race, but this is what title champions do. They have these big setbacks, all these key players out, they make adaptations and they find ways to win. This kind of result, in a weakened state, shows the progress under Maresca, shows he can make the right calls, shows he can be ruthless, he can change it up. Because I've criticised Maresca in the past for making his subs too late or making the wrong kind of subs. Today, it showed a lot. I think this win is huge for Chelsea. I think it puts them in fourth, but you'll probably drop out fourth. But it's like this manager knows what to do here, and that should give Chelsea some confidence. Liverpool, this win, back-to-back wins, important points, and everyone was focused on the injuries, but Chelsea have got points in back-to-back games. You had to play 4 fullbacks at centre-back for the last half an hour versus Liverpool. You won the game. You know, Reece James, phenomenal player. Sometimes he's in midfield, sometimes he's right-back, sometimes he's centre-back. He's doing this, and that. But Chelsea are winning games without nearly the whole defence. And I want to talk about Reece James because, wow. What a goal. I think he might have got an assist today, but it was a captain's display. Reece James can play anywhere. You can put him at right back, midfield, centre back, and he won't put a foot wrong. Reece James plays nearly everywhere and every match, has such good physical capabilities, technical capabilities, but also can set up a fantastic goal, can score a worldie. Reece James today won 100% of his tackles, 100% of his dribbles, created 2 chances, and made 5 recoveries on top of the goal. Reece James today was phenomenal. There was leadership, there was composure, there was end products. When Reece James is fit, he is the best in the world. There's no debate about that. I'm saying this as a Manchester United fan. When Reece James is fit, he is the best in the world. He stayed fit this season. I really hope he stays sick for his sake. Stays fit for his sake and England's sake in the World Cup. But Reece James was phenomenal today. It was a captain's performance, his leadership performance. He was scoring goals, but he was all-round influence on play was incredible. And another player that impressed me a lot, and has impressed me for the last, I think he ended last season quite well, and I thought he was fantastic in the Club World Cup and it went under the radar. I think only Chelsea fans have picked up on how much he's improved, but Pedro Neto. 45 touches, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 key passes, 1 out of 2 dribbles, 3 out of 6 duels, 9.3 sofa score rating. Goal and assist for Pedro Neto today. He was taking on his player. He was making things happen. I think, you know, it wasn't a great first half from Chelsea, but he was one of Chelsea's brightest players in the first half. He was unplayable. The goal, the assist, the threat, the set piece. He's getting that end product that, you know, he needed to get, because without Palmer, who gets all the end product, Chelsea needed someone to step up, and that was Pedro Neto today. 4 key passes. He linked up with Guiu, he linked up with Pedro. The second half, there was fluidity there. It was devastating, and that's what Chelsea have been crying out for someone to do with Palmer out, someone to go get the goal and assist. Because I think Neto's been really good for a while, but he's not getting the goal and assist. You know, I'd like to see Esteval get more minutes. I'd rather see Esteval start, you know, than someone like Santos in the 10 if I was a Chelsea fan. But Chelsea don't have anyone getting those kind of numbers outside of Palmer. Jackson used to get decent numbers. You know, Joao Pedro's got somewhat decent numbers, but Pedro Neto was there today to get the goal, to get the assist, to get the numbers, to make things happen. I want to talk about the young academy player, Josh Achimpong. 19, strong, composed, scored first Chelsea goal, 92% pass accuracy, 7 defensive actions, 4 interceptions, which was the most, 2 shots, 1 goal. He looked good on the ball, stepping out from defence, looked good at playing out. He looked good in so many roles. And with the centre-back injuries, he's making a serious statement of, I can start more. Whenever I've seen him, I've always been surprised that he's not played more games, because whenever I've seen him for Chelsea, he's been good, but he seems very low down the pecking order. He started today and he made a point, not just with the goal, but the performance, how strong he was, how composed he was. The defensive action, 7, and interceptions, which was the most in 4. He was phenomenal defensively, and I thought he had a phenomenal first half as well. So yeah, that is my general thoughts on Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. 3-0 win for Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts down below. and what this might mean. As of now, Bournemouth are currently 1-0 up as I'm recording this video. Sunderland are 1-0 up. So Chelsea currently right now are 6th in the league, but 14 points has put Chelsea back up there. Huge win. Thank you for watching. Bye.